All right, so we got the key on. This crank no start. More troubleshooting. So key on, glow plug solenoid has been working, and so now we're going to listen and see if when we apply 12 volts to the fuel shutoff solenoid, if it clicks. We've already checked the resistance across these posts, and it checked out. We checked that we have 12 volts, but I watched a video earlier today that this should make an audible noise when I apply the 12 volts. And I don't get any noise. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run out and grab the voltmeter, going to set it to amps, and I'm going to check the current draw through here, because theoretically I should get some current through that with 12 volts applied if it's working, whether I can hear it or not. So we're going to try that next. Alright, after a lot of messing around, we got voltage back to this pin, and you can hear it click, although the video I watched sounded like it clicked a lot louder. So still suspect, but we tried it. So now we're going to go over here, the fuel filter housing. We're going to take out the Schrader valve on here. We bought a fuel pressure tester that reads a few psi, 0 to 10. We're going to take out that Schrader valve, put it on here, and when we're cranking over, we're going to see if we have fuel pressure here. We should have about 3 or 4 psi, up to 6, I guess. This is used to bleed the air out of the system to, when you change the filter. And hopefully our fuel pump is working, which we tested before. We think it is, but we're going to verify with the gauge this time. All right, bud. A hole in the flywheel, missing a tooth. Okay. Wow. So 5 psi to the injection pump. That seems legit. It's a $15 gauge at Harbor Freight. All right, so in order to troubleshoot the mechanical fuel pump down there, that guy, we've bypassed it with an electric pump. So there's somebody put a copper line in from the back of the truck there. If you can see that little kink there, we're gonna get farther back there. So we've come up off that copper line from the back of the truck. We've gone to our fuel pump. This is 4 to 7 psi, 35 gallons per hour. It is a Mr. Gasket number 12D, 12 volt. So ground to our battery, and then we've taken our hot wire and we've got it over here to the top of the injection pump to the fuel shutoff. So when I go in there, my pump is pushing fluid. So in order to get that to work, I had to use a Mighty Vac to suck through the hose here in order to get fuel through the pump. So, and then we tested it into a bucket. It seems to be pumping good. So I had to take off, of course, this line here, and this elbow came off of there. So I don't know if we can see what that is. It's a Parker fitting. Don't know what it is. It seems to be, compression by male pipe thread. And I replaced it with a barb fitting, which is a 3/8 hose, 1/4 inch MPT male thread in there. So that works now. So now we're going to bleed the system with the electric fuel pump running. We're going to just try to get any other air out. And really what I want to do is I've used the Schrader valve here that was full of gunk. We cleaned that out, checked our fuel pressure with the mechanical pump. It had pressure, but a lot of videos online said put this in. It came with the truck, so $0 cost there. I spent maybe $50 at the parts store today getting some hose and fittings and stuff like that. But it's 3/8 fuel hose. So I'm going to take this off, and hopefully this is the return line from the injectors coming back to the fuel filter housing. Hopefully we're going to get any air out through taking that off, and then we're going to try starting it again. This is the fuel pressure tester kit. It is item 62637 from Harbor Freight. I think it was $16, and they said, you know, there's a restocking fee because people keep returning them. All right, that didn't work at all. Don't do that. Fuel everywhere because it just shoots out that fitting. And I pressed my finger over the end to see if I get coming out the hose, and the hose didn't do anything. And then I took my finger off to put the hose back on. It shot more fuel all over the truck. So we made a mess, and it was not a good test. So now we're going to break open some of the injectors and see if we get. Actually, I think we're just going to try running it. You want to try running it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Hang on. Let me plug it in, and we'll do the old try a start test. All right. So we're going to glow it a couple times. Put some tools away. Okay. Time to clean the shop. Time to clean the shop a lot. All right.
Ready?
I was born ready for this thing to run. Whoa! Stop! Stop. Ah, well, I guess our fuel pump works because we're getting a lot of fuel coming out of there, and that's just residual because there's nothing going back to it. All right, she's already a mess. Keep going.
All right. We started to spit fuel again.
Yep.
You want me to try giving it some gas?
Let's see here. Yeah, you can give it fuel while you're going.
All right, I'll just give it a couple of taps.
All right, with the key on and this line off the top of the injection pump going, I'm getting fuel coming out of the return here. All right, and making more of a mess, of course, but it's going to happen when you're a hack like me. So that's. So that's the injector returns, the gang to this guy, and then that would go to the top of this. Is this also the return from this, or is this taking the fuel in? I don't know. I took this off so I could, you know, take this guy off and take this off and diagnose that solenoid, make sure the solenoid's actually moving, has some force to it. So that's our next step. But kind of recording it all to figure out what I'm doing wrong. Sorry about the glare there, but that looks pretty schmutzy on the shaft, which is, you know, not so great. So we got this thing opened up, and I was expecting one solenoid. Seems to be two. This big one, I guess, is the shutoff. And I don't know what the front one is. So we're going to get the yellow wire on the ground. We're going to apply 12 volts to each pin and see if we can get that to move back and forth. All right, so 12 volts going to this guy. That guy seems to be working, and that would shut off flow to this guy. But I'm not seeing 12 volts doing anything to this guy. Which would actually be from this other wire here. So I'm thinking this thing is dead. So we're gonna cover this up. Whoa, whoa, yep. Stop applying 12 volts to everything in the truck. Good thing it's not a gas job. Would be dead, Jackson. All right. All right, Jack, go ahead and run that fuel. Yeah. So we checked an internet video and it said that the fuel shutoff solenoid. All right, Jack, that's good. The fuel shutoff solenoid, locks this guy in the forward position, and theirs was stuck, and possibly was the reason that their fuel shutoff solenoid didn't work. But ours seems to be, moving freely, and I don't see anything that looks disconnected. A little bit more schmutz in there than I would like, but I wasn't in charge of the truck before I got it, so I don't know if that's rust from water, but I don't know diesel fuel to rust, so maybe more problems down the road. Cover that up for now. We're going to test that solenoid. Okay, good news that I noticed when I had this thing grounded through here that this solenoid has a ground strap, and when I took that bolt out, I probably lost it. So I grounded to the actual wire there. The good news is I don't have to go buy one of these. She's working good. Bad news is, no idea why the truck won't run. All right, we're gonna move into compression test on this 8973 IDI. So I've taken out a glow plug, the first one, right there. Came out easy because the previous owner put these in. So there's a couple brands of these, I guess. So I'm trying to make sure that I've got the brand that's not gonna swell up the tip and never come out. So one thing to note is that we've been cranking this thing over, trying to get it to start, and that tip, I did not clean that off. That is dry. So this says Beru, B-E-R-U, Germany, 0100 271 101, and after Germany it says 430. So what we're going to do before we do the compression test is that we're going to just plug this in and watch the glow plug get it hot. So I do have to ground it while it's out. So hopefully we can get that. So it's going to show. All right. Drop the fuel on it, see if it smokes. It's supposed to get red hot, I think. Yes. Well, it may not. Yes. Is that you?
No. Yeah, let me try that one.
All right, so we're going to do a compression test. We got the Maddox Harbor Freight MH20-1. Pull the kit open. There are a few adapters here. So number 3 is the right thread, but it's too long, just by a little bit. And over here, number 7 is also the correct thread. It's long, but the part that threads in is shorter by just enough to make it work. So these have a what do you call it, Schrader valve in there. So I don't know if I could trim this one down, trim that one down enough to make it work, because this one might get in the way of the fuel injection lines, is what people are saying, I think. So we're going to start in the first hole with this one and modify as we go if we need. Yeah, keep going. We skip to another hole. All right, go ahead, Jack. 10 cranks. 10 more. Stop. All right, bud, try that. Yep. Well, I forgot to put the battery charger on when going, so you know what that means. We didn't have enough to jump over the gap. Not enough inertia because the batteries were getting low. So, third time under here with the old manual starter engage tool. Doing the old pry bar on the tooth method. And we got the battery charger hooked back up.